What's up, Epic 7? It's Friday, and it's time for this week's Hall of Trials video. Now, I've already put up a Hall of Trials video for those of you without Schneel. I'll have that linked in the description. But this is the video for completing Hall of Trials with Schneel, and Smilegate has done it again. That's right, they have released a unit that is basically required if you want to be top 100 in Hall of Trials. Let me get into how the fight works this time around. So, as we discussed in the prior video, the speed of the foremost Soul Weaver is increased by 30%, and when the boss is exhausted, your skill cooldown is reduced by 3, so it basically means the Soul Weaver in the front can spam its S3. Also, the damage done by the Soul Weaver in the front is based on the attack of the unit in the back. So we want a high attack unit in the back, and we can only use RGB units, and the highest attack unit in the game is Landy, because of her passive, because of her stackable attack. So let me get into how each of these units is built. First, we're going to go with Schneel. I put him on Grace of Growth to get him plus 15 so that we could get extra damage. I made him as fast as possible while maintaining 350 crit damage. We don't have to worry about his attack stat because he's getting his attack from the back row unit. So just crit damage and enough crit chance to make sure we crit and enough speed to go as often as possible. You'll probably want to do this with a speed set. I pulled it off with a Destro set just because I have some pretty cracked speed gear or speed subs on my Destro gear. I'm running the POS artifact on him because this not only increases my crit chance, but it overcaps my crit damage by up to 20%. So I'll technically be at 370 crit damage throughout this fight. You can overcap crit damage this way. The next unit on the team is going to be the highest attack unit in the game, and that is Landy. Now, I know you're saying, well, what about Arunka? What about Senya? What about Ram? They have higher attack. Landy has got a passive that increases her attack by 20% after attacking up to 3 times. It's a 60% attack boost. That puts her attack well over 10k attack, 12k attack, actually. I'm going to run her on the Hall of Trials artifact for an additional 40% to her attack, because remember, she sends all that attack to the front row. And that makes Schneel hit incredibly hard. Now, in a perfect world, you get 100% crit chance on this girl, but I focused on the attack more than her ability to crit. I am rolling the dice with about a 33% chance, 30%. Okay, it's like closer to a 40% chance to miss my crit, but still, we're going to hope that luck is on our side and that we crit anyway. If you don't crit, that's okay. The damage is still going to be more coming out of Schneel. So if you can pull off really high attack and crit chance, great. If you can't, just focus on attack. In place of Landy, you could run Ram, you could run Melissa, you could run Ludwig, you could even run Arunka, although Arunka has a chance to double attack with her S1, and that can really brick a run. Next on the team is going to be my Soul Weaver. I'm running a Cades. I'm running a Cades because she is an incredibly strong healer. Remember, her healing is based on her own health, so you run her as fast as possible, but try to make sure she's on an HP neck and an HP ring, because you want her HP to be very, very high. Other than that, as much speed as you can get on her. This is really overkill, but it worked for me. Rod of Amaryllis, because DDR is going to focus the back row unit, so the targeted healing is better than the AoE healing you get from, say, Unfading Memories. As for an exclusive equipment, it doesn't really matter. None of her exclusive equipment really do anything for us in this fight, so just run her on whatever exclusive equipment you have available. And that's pretty much it for Cades. Now you can try running Amelia. She's really good for the CR manipulations and an AoE attack imprint, but my Amelia doesn't have an attack imprint, doesn't have any imprints, so. Last is the unit that pulls it all together, and that's going to be Euphine. Euphine has got a silence, 100% silence on her S2. Really, it's only 85%. You got to make sure she's got the EE that gives you an additional 15%. Otherwise, you're leaving it up to RNG as to whether or not she can silence. Because to push phase, you need to silence, provoke, or redirect provoke. So alternates to Euphine would be Fairy Tale Tenebria, AoE redirect provoke. She doesn't give the AoE attack imprint, but she does have 100% redirect provoke, so you can use her to push phase. Another alternative would be Fire Cecilia. Fire Cecilia has a 100% provoke on her S3, but be aware, to get that 100%, you do have to Mola her, so there is a Mola cost in using Cecilia. A third option is not the best option, but you can run Senya. Senya has an 85% chance to provoke. She's easier to keep alive, and her barriers can help you survive, but you're going to be leaving a bit up to RNG. I stuck with Ufiends simply because I've got a 7% attack imprint on my Ufiends. Really, 99% of the reason I went with her. Although she's built for a ton of damage, she does almost no damage in this fight. She never hits DDR in the break phase. She's literally just there to push phase, so don't fret too much on the damage. Give her an artifact that helps increase the attack of the other units on your team. I used Warhorn in this situation for 9.5% more attack to my Landy, which will then be pushed forward into my Schneel. Oh, you do want to make sure she is slow as possible. You do not want her to take turns inside the break phase, so make sure she is dog slow. And that's the entire team. This is how it works. At the start of the fight, Ray throws his poison vial, slaps all the debuffs on you, which normally you have to worry about, but with Schneel, we just cleanse that right off, so we take no injury damage whatsoever, and that's what makes this fight so easy with Schneel. Now it's just a matter of dropping some damage until we get to the break phase. Acades S3s to take some of the healing off. We still get the pop damage. Now, remember, when it's Ray's turn, he's going to target the back row unit. So watch after we attack Ray here. He's going to focus target Landy. And that hit plus the pop damage really starts to chip Landy down. Because we have Rod of Amaryllis, the S2 on ourselves heals Landy up. Without Rod of Amaryllis, Landy won't take that heal, and subsequent focused attacks can kill her. So if you're not going to run Rod of Amaryllis, if you're going to try a damage boosting artifact, for example, that's fine. Just make sure you put enough bulk on Landy that she can survive these extra hits. We'll go ahead and continue to hit Ray, continue to build up some stacks. We take a hit with a pop. There's no reason to save the S3. You may as well just use Ufiend's S3 because I thought about saving it in case she gets a turn inside the break phase. If she's slow enough, she doesn't really ever take a turn inside the break phase. So you can just use it now to get a little bit of extra points. It's only 28, 29k, but hey, a buck's a buck. Take another hit. You notice how low Landy's health is. Without that S2 heal from Rod of Amaryllis, Landy would have died there, so as I said before, without Rod, you're going to want to put her on a little bit more bulk. Let's see, that S3 healed us up to full, another hit, and we are coming up on the phase where DDR puts overload on all of the enemies and we can push phase. There we go. And now overload is put on the ads. Once again, we cleanse away all the poisons. Now we just have to have Ufiend use her S2, and that should push phase. S2 ourselves to heal up. Ufiend uses her S2. This will get silence on the mobs. That'll cause the mobs to push up and commit suicide. Mob 1 down. Mob 2 down. Pop. We're into the break phase. Now watch this damage from Schneel's S3. 1.78 million. As opposed to Landy, who does 429k damage on a crit. That's crazy. Schneel once again, an AoE, pop 1.87 million. We just stall for time. We don't want to hit. This is one reason I really like Acades, is unlike other Soul Weavers, there's no attack phase with her. You can just have her constantly heal the team and pass the time around. There's another attack from Schneel. Another hit from Landy. We missed the crit. That's a little unfortunate. But we knew it would be a 2 and a 40% chance to miss crit. This time, Landy, I want you to crit. Focus, Landy. Crit. 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 Let's go. 500k damage instead of 300k, so a little bit harder. You can see why Landy is not really the damage dealer. She's just lending her attack to Schneel, and Schneel is doing incredible damage with that S3. 1.9 million on that hit. Fan-freaking-tastic. So that exits the first break phase at 12.74 million points. Again, throws the poison vial, again, cleanses it off so we don't have any injury to contend with, and we're able to start pushing deeper into the fight. Now, one thought that somebody in my chat had that I thought was very, very clever was running Senya in the back, because you can max her attack out really, really high, and that would allow you to take 2 Soul Weavers on the team, like Amelia and Akades, so you could use one to CR push around. It looked perfect, but the problem is, watch what happens when Ray attacks. When he attacks, he ignore ER, reduces skill cooldowns by 2. So, unfortunately, Ray constantly attacking the back row, constantly dropping the skill cooldowns by 2, you will not be able to have her S3 provoke ready when it's necessary, and you won't be able to push phase. So, unfortunately, as fun as that idea was, it fell apart at the end. Go ahead and heal ourselves, keep pushing the fight. Once again, we don't need Yufien's attacks inside the break phase, so may as well just use her S3, drop some good solid damage into Ray. A whopping 37k, but hey, a buck's a buck, right? You can see why you don't really need to build a lot of damage on Yufien. You just need her to be around to provoke the ads. Just S1 here. Hit, and then Akades can heal us up. It's good because we were looking a little threadbare there. Schneel uses his S3. Not yet. We need one more turn. Okay, there's the overdrive buff. Yufien's all the way in the back. I hope she can catch up in time. We need to make sure Yufien doesn't get cut by the ads. Schneel drops his S3. Another hit. And Yufien's all the way back there with those ads. If they get to attack before she silences them, they'll start one-shotting our team. Okay, that's nice. Yufien pushed up a little bit. We heal up here. It's going to be close. She made it. She made it. So as long as we go first, we provoke, or provoke. We silence them. Same as provoke, silence, provoke, redirect, provoke. Any of those will cause the ads to kill themselves and push phase. Okay, heal up. And now we start stacking some damage. $2.3 million from Schneel, as opposed to Landy, who does 800k. Drop another 2.3 million hit from Schneel. Landy does her part. Crit Landy. Show me a crit, Landy. Good job, Landy. Good job. I knew you had it in you. Okay, heal up. Schneel gets his attack. And with this hit, I believe... No, not quite. We're almost past my score from the last Hall of Trials team. Yep, there we go. So, this is what I mean with, a really strong team last time. I was only able to pull off about 28 million. But with Schneel, we're at 28 million at the end of the second break phase. More than 28 million. This is 29 million. That's how important Schneel is for damage on this. So if Hall of Trials matters to you, you need to pull that unit, because this Hall of Trials is going to rerun and he will be needed again. May as well S3 here, get some points on the board. 46k, we'll take it. S2 ourselves, this will top off Landy. Heal everybody up here. Back to full health. Another nice thing about Eufine, as opposed to the other provokes and redirect provokes, is Eufine's S2 has only got a 3-turn skill cooldown. So you can run her slow. And that's really nice. You'll be able to get her provoke when it's needed. The other units, if they have higher skill cooldowns on their provokes, you might need to put some speed on them so they can cycle their skills fast enough that you'll be able to get your provokes off. And that can be a problem if it makes them take turns inside of the break phase, which can waste turns. So, yet another reason to use Eufine as your unit to push phase. Okay, they've got their overdrive buff on, so as soon as Eufine takes a turn, we'll be able to push phase. And Eufine screams, and the ads kill themselves. Pop. And pop. Okay, we're into the last break phase, so let's see how hard our Schneel hits now in the final break phase. Maximum damage. 2.8 million damage per hit. That's crazy. And Landy, what have you got for us on your S1? Show me a good solid crit, Landy. 878k damage on the crit. 2 million less than what Schneel's doing. You can see why you want to cycle Schneel's turns. Now, if you use Soul Weaver like Amelia, you can CR push Schneel and maybe get 1 or 2 extra hits out of Schneel than I'm getting, and possibly push your score a little bit higher. But I just had so much trouble with consistency, so much trouble with my units surviving without a Katie's strong healing. But if you can pull it off, it would definitely get you more points. Another nice crit. 1 million points out of Landy on that crit. Very nice. Schneel drops in a cool 4.1 million. Oop, another one. Another 2.8 million damage. We're at 44.8. Nice crit, Landy. You had to blow it at the end. You were looking so good there. So we lost, we've missed 3 crits so far this run, so we've lost about 2 million damage total across those 3 crits. Maybe about 1.5 million across those 3 crits. So we would have ended at like 49.5 million if I'd gotten those crits, but it wasn't worth lowering Landy's attack. I really wanted Landy's attack to boost Schneel's damage, and we take the score, right? 48 million on the nose. That should get me 4th or 5th place, I think. Let's see. 4th place it is. So let's see. What do the people above me use? Yeah, see, they used Amelia. If you're able to pull off Amelia, I think it's a much harder walk. But if you're able to pull off Amelia, she gives the ability to CR push Schneel, which can let you do more damage. It's very interesting. Mori, Elusiel, and Ebby all used Lulika. Lulika's got far less attack than Landy, but Lulika's got an S2 skill that's a non-attack skill. And with a non-attack skill, instead of wasting a tick, she can just use her non-attack skill and get you 1 additional hit from Schneel. So you're trading in the nuking damage of Landy's insanely high attack for the extra hit from Lulika. So you may want to try that out too. They definitely outscored me a bit, but I think my team's really solid. It's very consistent, it's repeatable, and as long as you can hit those stat lines, it's a pretty simple way to get into the top 100. Hopefully this Hall of Trials team helps you out. If you have any other ideas, leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a great rest of your week. Take care, Epic 7.